This is the USS Gerald R. Ford, $13 billion of American military power, 1,092 feet long, capable of launching a fighter jet every 20 seconds. In the last few months, these floating fortresses have dominated the global headlines. From the USS Gerald R. Ford's decisive role in the Caribbean buildup that led to the capture of Nicolás Maduro, to the recent deployment of a second carrier strike group toward Iran as the regime faces unprecedented domestic protests. When the US government needs to change the course of history, this is the tool they use. But while we often talk about the Navy, the pilots, or the high-stakes geopolitics, we rarely ask the corporate question: who actually builds these things? As it turns out, in the United States, there is exactly one company capable of building a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. It is a billion-dollar monopoly that the world's most powerful military cannot live without. Today, we're looking at Huntington Ingalls Industries. To understand why only one company exists today, we have to look back to a time when there were dozens. Before the Pearl Harbor attack, the battleship was king. But World War II changed the calculus of war forever. The aircraft carrier became the ultimate chess piece. During the conflict, the US and Japan entered a frantic race of industrial attrition. Japan built roughly 15 carriers during the war. The US? Over 150, from massive fleet carriers to small jeep carriers. Names like Bethlehem Steel and New York Shipbuilding dominated the era. But as the war ended and technology shifted from coal and oil to nuclear power, the barrier to entry skyrocketed. In the 1950s, the supercarrier was born. The USS Enterprise CVN-65 was the first to be nuclear-powered. Building these required specialized dry docks, nuclear certifications, and thousands of specialized engineers. At this time, the player to watch was Newport News Shipbuilding. Founded in 1886, they weren't just a contractor, they were the architects of American naval power. But they weren't alone. Other giants like Ingalls Shipbuilding in Mississippi were also carving out their territory, focusing on destroyers and amphibious ships. For decades, these shipyards operated under different owners. Newport News was even owned by an oil company, Tenneco, for a while. But the end of the Cold War triggered a wave of defense consolidation. The Pentagon realized it couldn't support dozens of builders anymore. In 2001, the aerospace giant Northrop Grumman made a massive move, acquiring Newport News Shipbuilding for $2.6 billion. They already owned Ingalls Shipbuilding. Suddenly, the two most critical naval yards in America were under one corporate roof. But managing a shipyard is a different beast than building stealth bombers. The margins were tight, and the risks were astronomical. In 2011, Northrop Grumman decided to spin off its entire shipbuilding sector into a standalone company. They named it Huntington Ingalls Industries, HII, a name that pays homage to the founders of the two legendary shipyards, Collis Huntington and Robert Ingalls. Today, HII isn't just a shipyard, it's a strategic national asset. Specifically, the Newport News division is the only facility in the United States large enough and, more importantly, nuclear certified to build, refuel, and decommission nuclear carriers. When you see the USS Gerald Ford off the coast of Venezuela or Iran, you are looking at the product of a century of corporate mergers that left HII as the last man standing. Beyond the steel and the sailors, Huntington Ingalls is a financial titan. Listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker HII, The company has seen its market cap soar to over $19 billion by early 2026. But their monopoly isn't limited to the surface. HII is also one of only 2 companies in the entire country capable of designing and building nuclear-powered submarines. Through their Newport News division, they build the Virginia-class attack submarines and the massive Columbia-class ballistic missile subs. This dual-threat capability, carriers and submarines, makes HII the ultimate guardian of the U.S. nuclear triad's naval leg. But let's talk about the cost of a single ship. The USS Gerald R. Ford didn't just break records, it broke budgets. Total price tag? Approximately $13.3 billion. And that's just the ship itself. It doesn't include the $4.7 billion spent on research and development. These aren't just expensive, they are slow. Building a Ford-class carrier takes about 7 to 10 years. It's a massive commitment of national capital. And a carrier is useless without its teeth. This is where the corporate synergy comes in. HII builds the garage, but Lockheed Martin provides the car, specifically the F-35C Lightning II. This version of the stealth fighter is custom engineered with reinforced landing gear and folding wings, specifically to operate from HII's decks. It's a multi-billion-dollar partnership between the 2 biggest names in defense. Today, there are only about 22 active fleet carriers in the world. 11 of them, the nuclear ones, belong to the United States. Only one other nation operates a nuclear-powered carrier, France, with the Charles de Gaulle. But a new rival is moving fast. China has officially established itself as the second-largest operator. Their newest ship, the Fujian, commissioned in late 2025, uses electromagnetic catapults just like the American Ford class. While the US has a century of experience, China is trying to close the gap at record speed, with plans for a 4th nuclear-powered carrier. This is why the monopoly of Huntington Ingalls matters. In a world where carriers are being deployed to capture dictators in the Caribbean or deter regional powers in the Middle East, the ability to build and maintain these ships isn't just a business. It's the foundation of the current global order. From a 19th century shipyard to a 21st century nuclear monopoly, Huntington Ingalls Industries reminds us that behind every geopolitical move, there is a balance sheet. The US isn't just a military power. It's a manufacturing power that has consolidated its most vital asset into a single, indispensable company. But as China ramps up its production, will the HII monopoly be enough to maintain the corporate context of the oceans? If you want to see how other companies are shaping the future of defense, check out our video on Lockheed Martin and why they stopped making commercial planes. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. Do you think carriers are still the ultimate weapon? Or are they becoming $13 billion targets? Thanks for watching.